So I want to talk a little bit about the missing submarine that's going on right now. Um, it's a 5-passenger submarine that does trips down to the Titanic wreckage, 2.4 miles under the surface of the ocean. And these people have been missing since Sunday. Today is Wednesday. They have 96 hours of oxygen. It's a super cramped situation. They don't have much. They don't have any communication means. It's just insane to think about. I can't imagine. It's the size of a minivan. They're all sitting there, crisscross applesauce. Got to take your shoes off, and it's so cramped and so dark, and I just can't imagine being in there. And what would be your thoughts? I'm not getting in it, right?
My first thought is I'm glad I'm not in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like it's almost like one of those things that you hear about where people like want to pay big money to go to space or something.
I mean, these people paid $250,000 to go on this voyage.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I guess if you really think about it deep, like what prompts someone to make like such a crazy decision like this, right? To get in like a virtually like a small tube and float down at incredible depths. I know they're going down to see the Titanic wreckage, but like, where do they really have to be at in their life to want to do that right now?
Well, I think these were all very wealthy people, obviously.
Right.
One of them is a known billionaire. Him and his son were on there. And I think, they stated this isn't like it's not for tourists. This is for wealthy adventurers. And that's kind of, it's like climbing Everest or
right.
That level
thrill
of
seekers.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you almost have nothing better to do.
Is that the guy that's on there now?
There is one billionaire and his son.
Wow.
And I think the other one, there's another wealthy guy and the CEO of the company, and then one other guy. I can't remember what he was, but
that's crazy. The crazy thing is paying that kind of money for that kind of thrill, knowing the risk that's involved with it.
Mm-hmm.
And they said it's been operating for a couple of summers or a couple of years.
It's I believe 2 or 3 summers they've been doing dives, and I guess been successful. They came back, but now it's just they have zero contact. Don't know. So it went down, and I believe within like an hour and a half they lost contact.
Crazy.
And it's been down there for days.
You would think they these people that probably got onto, they probably like for sure check the track record of the sub.
Right. Of course.
They're like, we're good.
Yeah,
it's almost like when you go skydiving, right? It's
sure.
like I've been skydiving one time, and the first question that I asked the tandem, the instructor that I went with, I was like,
how many jumps do you have?
Yeah, like how many times have you done this?
Of course.
And so like it's interesting because just even though there was great risk involved, these people probably thought like, they do this every day type, type thing. So, it's pretty bad. Like, I guess my question is, where do you think they are now?
My hope is that they submerged and came back up, and, the emergency systems in place brought them back to the surface, and they're just way out of line to where people are looking. But, my worst fears are that they're stuck down there.
Right.
In complete darkness,
limited oxygen,
and freezing cold, limited oxygen.
Yeah,
no room to even stand up.
They're if it's option B, they got to be mentally fighting. Hopefulness that someone will find them.
Sure. Well, I mean, the article this morning said that all the ships, they've had an abundance of ships come to try and help and rescue these people. And they said they heard some banging this morning, and so they're hoping that was them trying to convey that they're still down there and looking for assistance. But there's apparently in this area there's so much wreckage and steel and stuff in the bottom of the ocean that there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of commotion going on down there. They're 2.4 miles under the surface of the ocean.
What was that, like a comm, like a microphone in there or something that they heard it from?
I'm not sure what they did to detect that, but they've been doing sonar and all kinds of stuff to try and detect any signs of life. But
it's an incredible story. It really is. It's wild.
Terrifying.
Yeah, I actually, like, I hadn't heard much about it until I came on the podcast today, and then we watched that video just a minute ago, and I'm like, I really can't believe it's not on like more news outlets or.
I mean, yeah. I feel like you don't look at the news.
Yeah, maybe not.
It's a top story on everything.
Yeah, maybe I'm working too much. Yeah.
Everything has this.
Okay,
this is the top story. Really? You know.
Like, okay. So, if you were to make like a wager on what's going to happen, because they are on limited oxygen.
Absolutely.
So you said they went out. They deployed Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Today's Wednesday.
Yeah.
They have 96 hours. So if I'm doing my math correctly, today's the day.
Today's the day. And, me personally, I'm not very hopeful. Okay. I assume and visualize the worst.
Right.
Just the most traumatic, awful experience possible.
Just grueling, just bad.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine being down there? Like, your power runs out. You're on the surface of the ocean floor. Dude. You have no power. It's pitch black. It's freezing cold.
I would be one mad motherfucker if I paid $250,000 and I'm stuck in like a black fucking tube at the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
With no communications, and I can't even speak to the guy up top that's virtually Xbox controlling me around. I'd be mad. Yeah.
That's the crazy part. It was such like a jerry-rigged submersible. There's a difference. A submarine can be launched under its own power. A submersible is dropped from another ship. It's like just meant to go down and come back up. But it seemed from the videos, it was so jerry-rigged, and like he didn't pass a bunch of regulations and all this stuff, and there was a lot of people that gave pushback on the team that were like, this isn't safe,
right?
And the whole thickness, and there's a viral video now where he shows that he pushes one button to turn the thing on, and then he controls the rest from like a PlayStation controller that steers the ship. That's everything. It was literally.
I wonder how, like, you mentioned he didn't pass like regulation or I wonder if it's because like they're on like maritime laws. Like the only thing I can relate to is like, when you're on a cruise ship, and you can legally like gamble out in the middle of the ocean,
right?
Because you're technically on like the laws of the sea.
Sure.
Right?
You're not on any.
Yeah. Cause that's my next question is like, how are they able to operate something like this with these high profile people and being unregulated?
Right.
And then my next question is, how are they able to charge $250,000 per ticket? And why haven't they invested in a better vessel? If they've been operating for 3 years, don't they take 5 people down at a time?
Yeah, I believe that's the max capacity.
So how much expense, how much cost is involved? Like they should be able to profit, around $1 million per trip. You would think they would have even invested in better equipment by this point too.
I think the huge expenses are, it's so far offshore. You need a parent ship to come out there, drop you off, and also monitor you. And it's 300 something miles off the shore of any land.
Yeah.
So you're way out there. You're off in the no man's land. And that's I think that's a huge expense. Imagine what it takes to get a big ship to tow you out there.
That's true. Yeah. I didn't really think about that, but I don't know, man. It's just so wild. It really is. It's bizarre.
It's crazy.
It's unfortunate.
It is very unfortunate.
It's like a cool thrill that turned bad. Like after this, for sure this operation's done, but it's like this is another angle. These may be the last people that ever see the Titanic.
Sure.
I mean, that's kind of crazy, right?
Like
the Titanic was already a tragedy.
Yeah.
And it's like, look at the similarities between the Titanic and the submarine.
That's exactly one of the headlines I saw was I
thought I just created something new.
No.
Okay.
There is, this group of wealthy people that wanted to experience an adventure that people hadn't before with the Titanic. And look what happened.
Yeah.
Now there's this other group of wealthy people that wanted to experience that group of wealthy people's disaster, and look what happened.
Pretty wild.
Yeah, it's pretty sinister.
Yeah. I don't know.
My brain assumes the worst. I can't imagine being on the ocean floor in pitch blackness.
Yeah. I mean, it's only right to assume the worst on today as well when, you know, we don't have a clock exactly when they deployed, but 96 hours got to be coming up pretty quick.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in that situation, you can't, you know, the experts have all been saying, you know, conserve your oxygen, stay calm, and breathe lightly. And dude, there's no fucking way.
No, dude.
You're down there hyperventilating, like, what is going on? And there's no coming out of that.
Yeah, the first day they might have thought it was like a prank or something, right? Like the guy was giving them like an extra experience, right, on their ticket.
He just turns it off,
and then
I'm just messing with you.
Bro,
and
you
then
can't even lay down. So like, even
no,
if they're sleeping,
they can't
just sit up, bro.
I mean, in the initial video when he's showing off the craft, it's, you know, a single button to turn it on, and he controls it with a Logitech ghetto PlayStation controller. And
Not even a PlayStation controller.
Exactly. It's like a knockoff. Exactly.
It's the Big Lots controller.
And then he shows like one of those, it's like a hospital can to pee in. You know, it's like, oh, we got this on board. We got a first aid kit. And then he's talking about like parts of the submersible, where he's like, oh, I got this off Camping World USA, and this part's from this. And
You know what's another angle? The other angle is what do you think that, you know, it's interesting because you know, you say you got a father and a son down there, but there's also 3 other people that are probably don't even know the father and the son. They're probably all different, you know, come from different walks of life, different businesses, different hierarchies, things like that. It'd be interesting to know, which we probably never get the answer unless the positive outcome turns out and people find them okay. But what do you think they're possibly talking about down there right now?
You know, I've thought about that a lot. Like what you can there's a couple avenues you can go to. You can go to just complete panic.
Right.
You know, there has to be at least one of them that's just hysterical.
Yeah.
And just
100%.
You know,
and then you got to have there's got to be the strong guy in the group, right? Trying to calm them down.
Right.
You know,
we're going to be okay. Let's do Morse code banging on the hole.
Right.
I can't imagine. It's
bad.
Absolutely terrifying. Yeah. And I feel for them. I pray for them.
Yeah.
And
hope they come home safe.